Hey everyone, Elizabeth here. The Last Laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go. The dining room table was covered with papers when I arrived at my parents' house that Tuesday evening. My mother stood by the window with her arms crossed, while my father sat at the head of the table with that expression he always wore when he'd already made a decision about my life. "Sarah, sit down," Dad said without looking up. "We need to discuss your brother's situation." My brother Marcus sat across from me, his wife Jennifer beside him, both wearing matching expressions of rehearsed concern. I'd seen this setup before. This was an intervention, except I wasn't the one with the problem. "Marcus and Jennifer need more space," Mom began, launching into what was clearly a prepared speech. 3 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment isn't working anymore. The baby keeps everyone awake, and Marcus's home office is literally a closet. I nodded slowly, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It always did with my family. "That house you bought," Dad continued, tapping his fingers on the table. "The 3-bedroom in Riverside. You're living alone there. It doesn't make sense." "I work from home," I said quietly. "I need the space for my equipment." Jennifer laughed, actually laughed. "Equipment? Sarah, you do data entry. That requires a laptop. My 7-year-old has more equipment for her online classes." The familiar burn of dismissal settled in my chest. They'd been calling my job data entry for 3 years now, ever since I'd stopped trying to explain what I actually did. It was easier to let them think I was struggling along in some entry-level position than to deal with their questions. "Marcus needs that house," Mom said, her voice taking on that edge that meant this wasn't a discussion. "He has a real career. 3 children. Jennifer's pregnant again. You can find an apartment." "I don't want to sell my house," I said. "We're not asking you to sell it," Dad interrupted. "We're asking you to give it to your brother. Family helps family, Sarah. You've always been so selfish with your things." "Selfish? That word again. Selfish when I wouldn't co-sign Marcus's car loan 6 years ago. Selfish when I couldn't contribute $15,000 to their kitchen renovation. Selfish for buying a house instead of helping with their debt. What they didn't know was that I had helped with their debt. I'd paid off $47,000 of their credit cards 2 years ago through an anonymous payment plan. They thought a billing error had forgiven their balance." "The lawyers drew up the papers," Marcus said, sliding a folder across the table. "It's all ready. You just need to sign, and we can move in next month. Jennifer's already planning the nursery." "You've already planned this," I said, not a question. "Sarah, don't be dramatic," Mom snapped. "You're 32 years old, single, no kids. What do you need a 3-bedroom house for? Marcus has a family. Real responsibilities. You can get a studio apartment. When's your husband moving in?" "Oh right, you don't have one," Jennifer added with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Honestly, Sarah, this is the least you can do. Marcus practically raised you." Marcus was 2 years older than me. He'd raised exactly nothing except my parents' expectations and their credit card debt. I looked at the papers. Transfer of deed. My name to his name. My house, my mortgage payments, my 3 years of saving for that down payment, just handed over because Marcus needed it more. "What about the mortgage?" I asked. "You'll keep paying it," Dad said matter-of-factly. "It's in your name. We can't change that without refinancing, and Marcus's credit isn't great right now. You make good money, Sarah. This is nothing for you." There it was. I'd keep the mortgage payment, the insurance, the property taxes, the maintenance, everything. Marcus would just live there, rent-free, in my house. And if I say no? The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. "Then you're not family," Mom said quietly. "If you can't do this one thing for your brother, after everything we've done for you, then I don't know who you are anymore." Marcus leaned forward. "Come on, Sarah. Don't make this difficult. We've already told the kids about the new house. You're really going to disappoint them? Your own nieces and nephews?" I looked at each of them. My parents, who'd compared me to Marcus my entire life and always found me lacking. Marcus, who'd borrowed money from me 17 times and never paid back a single dollar. Jennifer, who once told her friends at Thanksgiving that I was the sad single sister who peaked in college. They expected me to crumble. To argue. To eventually cave like I always did. Instead, I picked up the pen. "You'll sign it?" Mom's face flooded with relief. "Oh, Sarah, I knew you'd do the right thing." I signed every page where the sticky tabs indicated. Transfer of deed. Quit claim. Property transfer documents. I signed them all, my hand steady, while they watched with growing satisfaction. "There," I said, sliding the folder back across the table. "All done." "I knew you'd come through," Marcus said, actually reaching across to pat my hand like I was a child. "This is what family does. You'll visit, of course. The kids love their Aunt Sarah. When can we move in?" Jennifer was already on her phone. "I want to get the painters in before we bring the furniture." The property manager said the 1st of next month, I said calmly. Property manager? Dad frowned. I thought you owned it outright. I do, I said, standing up and collecting my purse. But I'm not the one who has to deal with them. That's Marcus's problem now. I left while they celebrated. Through the door, I heard Jennifer already on the phone with her mother, talking about finally getting out of that awful apartment and Sarah finally being useful for once. The next 3 weeks were a blur of moving trucks and family group texts. Jennifer posted daily updates about her design vision for my house. My mother sent me links to studio apartments in your price range. Marcus asked me to cover the cost of new appliances because the house came with old ones. I paid for the appliances. I sent them $2,000 for paint and repairs. I liked my family's messages and didn't respond to their hints that I should buy furniture as a housewarming gift. What they didn't know was that I'd already moved. Not to a studio apartment, but to a luxury condo downtown. 2 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows, gym access. Rent paid 6 months in advance. What they also didn't know was that the papers they'd made me sign were completely meaningless. You can't transfer property you don't own. And technically, legally, I didn't own that house. My LLC did. I'd bought the house through my company 3 years ago for tax purposes. My name was on the lease as the occupant, but the deed belonged to SM Properties LLC, which I owned entirely. The quitclaim deed they forced me to sign had transferred absolutely nothing because I never owned it personally in the first place. But I wasn't going to tell them that. Not yet. The housewarming party was scheduled for Saturday, October 14th. Jennifer had invited everyone, extended family, neighbors, Marcus's work friends, her book club. She posted the invitation on Facebook with a caption about new beginnings in our beautiful home. I RSVP'd yes and bought a nice bottle of wine. The house looked different when I arrived. Jennifer had painted the living room a shade of beige I would have never chosen and hung family photos everywhere, none that included me. The furniture was new, probably financed, and there were balloons tied to the mailbox. Sarah. Mom grabbed my arm the moment I walked in. Isn't it wonderful? Marcus and Jennifer have such good taste. The house looks so much better than when you had it. It's lovely, I said. Marcus appeared, drink in hand, looking more relaxed than I'd seen him in years. Hey, sis. Thanks for coming. And thanks for the house. Seriously. This changed everything for us. I can see that. You found an apartment? Jennifer asked, not really interested. Where'd you end up? Downtown, I said simply. Downtown? Her nose wrinkled. Those studios are so cramped. Well, it's temporary, right? Until you figure things out. I smiled and said nothing. The party filled with people. Cousins asked about my new place. Aunts congratulated Marcus on his beautiful home. Everyone seemed to know that I'd given him the house, and everyone had an opinion about what a good sister I was. Uncle Tom cornered me by the kitchen. That was real generous, Sarah. Family first, right? Your brother needed this more than you did. Absolutely, I said. At exactly 3:47 p.m., there was a knock on the door. Loud. Official. Marcus was in the middle of giving a tour to Jennifer's parents, talking about his plans for the backyard. The entire party paused as he went to answer it. A woman in her 50s stood on the porch holding a clipboard and wearing a property management company polo. Marcus Thompson? Yes? Marcus's smile was confused but confident. Can I help you? I'm Rebecca Chen, property manager for this building. I need to speak with you immediately. I'm actually having a party right now, Marcus laughed. Can this wait until? No, it cannot. Rebecca's voice cut through the room. The entire party had gone silent, everyone watching. I've been trying to reach you for 2 weeks. You haven't responded to any of my calls or emails. I don't know what you're talking about, Marcus said, his smile faltering. This is my house. I just moved in. Rebecca pulled out papers from her clipboard. Sir, this property is owned by SM Properties LLC. The deed is registered to the company, not to you. According to my records, only Sarah Martinez is authorized to occupy this residence. The room went completely silent. I watched my mother's face drain of color. That's impossible, Marcus said, his voice rising. Sarah signed the house over to me. We have papers. My father witnessed it. I'd like to see those papers, Rebecca said calmly. Dad rushed forward with the folder, thrusting it at Rebecca. She flipped through it slowly while 40 people watched in frozen silence. This is a quitclaim deed, Rebecca said finally. For property that Ms. Martinez never personally owned. These documents are worthless. The house belongs to SM Properties LLC, has since 2021, and there is no record of any ownership transfer. You are occupying this property without authorization. Sarah, Marcus turned to me, his face red. Tell her you gave me the house. Everyone turned to look at me. I stood there, wine glass in hand, completely calm. I signed the papers you asked me to sign, I said quietly. But you said, Mom started. I signed exactly what you put in front of me, I continued. You never asked if those papers would actually transfer the property. You just assumed. You lied to us. Jennifer screamed. I didn't lie, I said, my voice still calm. I never claimed those papers would work. You told me to sign them, and I did. That's all. Rebecca cleared her throat. Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Thompson, you need to understand the situation. You're occupying this property illegally. You have 48 hours to vacate the premises. If you're not out by Monday at 5 p.m., I'll begin eviction proceedings and contact the police for trespassing. This can't be happening, Marcus whispered. His hands were shaking. We sold our apartment. We have nowhere to go. You sold your apartment? I asked. We needed the money for furniture. Jennifer's voice cracked. For the renovations. We spent $18,000 fixing up this place. Fixing up property you didn't own, Rebecca said flatly. That's not recoverable. I suggest you start packing. Sarah, please. Mom grabbed my arm. You can't do this. This is your brother. His children. Where are they supposed to go? I gently removed her hand. You told me I was selfish for wanting to keep my house. You said Marcus needed it more than I did. You said if I didn't give it to him, I wasn't family. We didn't mean it like that, Dad said, his voice desperate. We just thought, Marcus has kids. You understand that, right? I understand that you've spent my entire life telling me Marcus deserves more than me, I said. Better grades, better job, better life. I understand that you've never once asked me what I wanted or what I needed. I understand that even now, you're not apologizing for what you did. You're just upset it didn't work. Aunt Linda spoke up from across the room. Sarah, honey, they're your family. You have to help them. I did help them, I said. I paid off $47,000 of their debt 2 years ago. I've loaned Marcus money 17 times. I bought the appliances for this house. I paid for the paint. I've been helping for years. They just never noticed because they never bothered to look. You paid our debts? Mom's face went pale. The credit card forgiveness you thought was a billing error, I said. That was me. Anonymous payment plan. Marcus slumped against the wall. How much money do you even have? Enough, I said simply. Rebecca checked her watch. I need to complete this inspection. Everyone who isn't a resident needs to leave. Actually, since Mr. Thompson isn't an authorized resident, everyone needs to leave. The party cleared out in 15 minutes. Cousins grabbed their coats. Jennifer's book club friends whispered in corners. Uncle Tom avoided eye contact. As I walked to my car, I heard Jennifer sobbing inside. We have nothing. We sold the apartment. Where are we going to live? Marcus was on the phone, voice breaking. Mom, can we stay with you? Just temporarily until we figure this out. I drove back to my condo, where my home office setup filled the second bedroom. 3 monitors. Standing desk. Everything I needed for my job as senior systems architect at a Fortune 500 tech company. Salary, $340,000 per year. Data entry. Jennifer had called it data entry. The calls started that night. 47 calls from Mom. 32 from Dad. Marcus sent texts in all caps, "You're destroying your family. My kids are crying. How can you live with yourself?" Jennifer left a voicemail at 2 a.m., "You're a monster. A vindictive, jealous monster who can't stand to see other people happy. Marcus was right about you all along." I blocked their numbers and went to sleep. On Monday, Rebecca called me. They're not leaving. They're claiming squatters' rights. I'm getting the police involved. Do what you need to do, I said. On Tuesday, Mom showed up at my office building. Security called me. There's a woman in the lobby demanding to see you. Says she's your mother. Tell her I'm not available. She left a note with the security guard. Sarah, please. Marcus is staying in a motel. It's $89 per night. They can't afford this. Jennifer's crying constantly. You're tearing this family apart. Call me. I didn't call. The eviction happened on Wednesday. Rebecca sent me photos. Police escort, all their furniture on the lawn, Marcus's face buried in his hands while Jennifer screamed at the officers. Aunt Linda called from a different number. I answered by mistake. Sarah, I don't understand, she said. Why are you being so cruel? They're sleeping in their car. They sold their apartment before confirming they actually owned the new house, I said calmly. They spent $18,000 renovating property they never owned. They assumed they could bully me into giving them what they wanted. Those were their choices, not mine. But their family. Family told me I was selfish for wanting to keep my own house. Family called my job data entry and said I peaked in college. Family said if I didn't give them what they wanted, I wasn't family anymore. I'm just taking them at their word. She hung up. 6 weeks later, I heard through Aunt Linda that Marcus and Jennifer had moved into a 2-bedroom apartment across town. Rent, $2,800 per month. They'd had to sell most of their furniture to cover the security deposit. Mom and Dad had loaned them $15,000. Money they didn't have. Money they'd now put on credit cards. The family group chat had gone silent. No more daily photos, no more celebration posts, no more assumptions about my availability to fund their emergencies. I'd gotten a promotion at work. Director of Systems Architecture. Salary, $425,000 per year, plus equity. My parents still didn't know what I did for a living. Neither did Marcus. They'd never asked, and I'd never told them. The house in Riverside sat empty for 2 months before I rented it out to a nice family with 2 kids and a dog. Rent, $3,400 per month. They loved it. The mother sent me photos of her garden. I never heard from Marcus again. Mom sent a Christmas card with no return address and a single line inside, "We hope you happy I was." Not because they were struggling, but because I finally learned something it took me 32 years to understand. You and help people who see your help as obligation. You can't love people who see your love as weakness. And you can't fix people who refuse to see you as a person at all. My brother didn't need my house. He needed to learn that the world doesn't owe him anything just because our parents said it did. My parents didn't need my money. They needed to learn that loving one child more than the other has consequences. And I didn't need their approval. I never had. I just needed to stop waiting for them to see me the way I actually was instead of the way they decided I should be. 3 months later, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Marcus. Can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to know what he'd say. Part of me wanted to hear an apology. But a bigger part of me knew that boundaries, once set, need to stay set. I deleted the message and went back to work. Have you ever been that selfish one in your family for setting boundaries? Share your story in the comments below.